Hi there and welcome to another craft with me. We're doing this BoHo journal, and it's a ring bound journal, so we're doing separate pieces for the ring to go on the rings. This was the first one that I did. I think I showed you that one. Very BoHo, lovely colours, I love those. But this one's something different, it's different colours, but still with that real BoHo theme. So this is just one side. The back's plain at the moment. We need to do the other side to stick onto it and then sew all around. This is just, well, I say just, you'll see as I'm making it. It's a page with an envelope. It is the longest envelope in the world, I can tell you that. But I hope you enjoy watching it. I enjoyed making it. So craft along with me. So I've literally taken this piece of A4 card and chopped it into the size that I need for my journal. And my journal, we established last time, was 8 by 6. So that's this piece now is 8 by 6. And it's quite shiny card. I've had it for many a moon, to be honest with you. And I've never made cards. I imagine if you're making cards, it's quite pretty stuff to use. But for anything that I was doing, it was just a bit shiny and not in keeping. But for this journal, it's just the job. So that's going to be our sort of base of this page. So we need to build onto it. And I've got some digi downloads here. I can't even remember who they're from, I'm afraid. And I just want to collage this piece onto here. So I'm just going to tear it. I don't really want to get down into too much plain stuff. Oh, I want to include the goldy bits on it, on that paper. So yeah, I think that's nice. I mean, this bit at the bottom, I didn't have enough room to print it out, so I've been left with a white space, but that's fine because we're going to put a pocket in anyway. So so that'll be fine. I'll probably get away with another little bit off there. Yeah, I think that's nice. That's going to look nice collaged onto there. So let's just stick that down. Glue stick is fine for this. It's paper, if you can get into it. Glue stick works for paper, definitely. It's if you're putting something sort of fabric or something that you want a bit more of a stickiness to, that you need to use tacky glue or Fabri-Tac or something along those lines. And you could collage anything you like onto here, or not collage anything if you want to keep the paper as it is, because it's as I say, it's quite pretty. So let's just stick this onto here. I'm going to make sure the bottom is right, and then I won't have a sort of groove in my pocket for things to get caught on. So yeah, that's lovely. Stick that on. So that's the beginning. Actually, it's not showing up very well on camera, but this is actually a sort of deep fuchsia colour. Yeah, like that. You can see it when I do that. Right, so that's fine. Let's just check that we haven't got any bits hanging over the edge. We have a little bit here, so I'll just take that off. The paper that I've collaged must have been just slightly wider than the paper I'm sticking it onto. Right, so next thing to do is the pocket. And I think I'm going to do it using this paper. Looks very, very busy, doesn't it? But I want it to look busy, so yeah, that's fine. I'm wondering if I just doubled that over, if I would have, if it would be substantial enough. It might be, but I'm not going to take a chance on it. I want it, I don't want it to tear. So I want it to be about that deep and 6 inches wide. Put that to one side, get my cutter out. I haven't really even got space for my cutter in here. I've got so much clutter, I can't use my cutter. Oh dear. So it's 6 inches wide, my my page, so I'm going to cut it at 6 inches. Hopefully that'll be fine. Let's just check. Yep. And I want it, that's where I put the mark, but I want it slightly longer than that because I want to fold it over at the top. So about there. Let's get that on the other side. Yeah, about there. I'm going to fold some over at the top, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit on the long side. Keep all your scraps because they really will come in useful for this journal. Then take a piece of coffee paper. It's not quite wide enough that way, so I'll do it this way. And leave the bit that you're going to fold over at the top not stuck on. So I'm sticking it down, but not the bit that I'm going to fold over. So let me just check again where I want that to come to. To about there, I would say. Maybe slightly about there. So let's just put that on there. We'll glue it on. And that should be okay. Glue stick again. Let's fold this over and then we know where we're aiming for. That's there. Right, so I just need glue stick on this part. I really don't know what to call this journal. I don't know whether it's boho, Indian or gypsy. It's kind of got elements, or it's going to certainly have elements of all three of those. I seem to have confused them all in my head and come out with some sort of mashup. I'm hoping that's square. I think so. I think we're all right there. So this piece just needs to get glued down onto here. So fold it over quite tightly, as tight as you can against that paper, so you've got a nice crisp edge. Smush it down to make sure it's a nice sharp edge like that, and let's just check that it's fine there. Yeah, lovely, that's lovely. Right, so we'll cut that out and then decorate the pocket before we put it onto the, attach it to the back. This might need a bit more fine tuning when it actually gets stuck onto the, or sewn onto the page, but right, there we are. So let's just have a look and see how we're going to decorate this and bring it to life. Yeah, that's fine. It's a little bit wide, I think, but that's fine. I can deal with that later. So what I'm thinking as an insert for this pocket is this envelope. It came with a digi download from somewhere, but it's really nice. It needs backing with coffee stained paper just to give it a bit of substance, because I've just printed it out on copy paper and it's a bit flippity floppity. So I could put that on there with some other stuff like that. That's quite nice because it picks up this colour, and then maybe a bit of all out bling. I don't know, possibly. Yeah, I mean, that looks quite nice. This is quite shiny and blingy. I quite like that. I can't see anything wrong with that. I've got this very green sort of it's not sequins, but it's really shiny stuff. I could put that on there. No, I don't like that as much as the other one. What else? What else have I got to hand? Well, I've got this. This is very nice. Whoa, that's nice, isn't it? Oh, problems. I just can't decide. I can't decide. Can you decide for me, please? No, I'm going to go with the original. I'm going to go with what I liked at the beginning, which was this. Onto there. I'm just going to stick that a little bit because I don't want to sew it and then have to go back and sew the other piece on top. I'm going to try and go for an all-in-one job. So that's just a bit too long, and I know that, but that's fine. This can get cut off and saved for something else. Honestly, it's all very well all this saving for something else, but you know, when you come to that something else, you need to be able to find it. So you kind of need a system of where you keep things, where you keep your scraps and your snippets and whatever. And I was really good. I was doing really well. I had a snippet box. Every time I cut something off, popped it in the snippet box, and now I've lost the blooming snippet box. Oh dear, how typical is that? I'm going to stick this on because it's fabric, and what I said to you about sticking fabric, you really do need something a bit stronger than glue stick. Although I am going to sew over this, so it doesn't need the most glue in the world, just something to keep it in place while I take it to the machine, really. So that'll just keep that there whilst I take it to the machine. And the next bit was this bit of this pink along that section there. Goes along there. Oh, this is pretty, isn't it? And I'm just going to use a bit of glue stick for this because that fabric, the tacky glue tends to come through this satin ribbon and it looks ugly. So I'm just going to use a bit of glue stick just to hold it while I sew it. That's fine. A bit short on this end. Good job it dries clear, isn't it? Lovely, lovely, lovely. And I'm wondering whether I should just glue this on anyway, because it's going to be difficult to sew actually. I'd like to sew it down through the middle, but that's where the really glittery bit is. So I think I'll just sew this and then stick that on. I think that's the way forward. I've got very dark thread in my sewing machine, which is fine. I'm happy with that. I'm just sewing around the top and the bottom of this. Try and make sure I keep it straight. I think we're doing all right. Just got to come back the other way. Oh, itchy nose. You've got to be a little bit careful with your sewing machine when you're sewing through all these layers. I mean, mine's an old one and it's, you know, well able to do this. I know it is. It's sturdy, but some of the modern machines, they're not up to it. And I would always advise that you put a big-ish needle in your machine. You don't want too big because then it's going to punch too big a hole through to the other side and that looks nasty. But I think I've got a size 12 in there. Right, so that's that. Let's trim off the excess. And down this side. See if I could find my snippet box. They could go in my snippet box because they would make a snippet string or something. That's actually turned out relatively neat. Goodness gracious. Right, so we'll take a piece of this. This has gone a bit weird at that end, so I need to start about there. I think it looks like it would fray very, very easily. So it's going to need stuck down really pretty well. That's quite a lot of glue on there for something that's really very, very light. See what I mean about it being Indian, or certainly Asian flavour to it. But it's also kind of got this BoHo vibe. I don't know what it is. It's a hybrid. Well, I think that might be all right. I think it's going to stick down. I'm just going to make doubly sure at the ends because I don't want it fraying too much. So that's a lot of glue on there, but I think in this instance it needs it. Might have to end up sewing this anyway, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see how it takes or doesn't take. It's like the glue's going up into the. Let's put that off there for the time being. It's like the glue's going into the trim and not actually gluing it. Well, if the worst comes to the worst, I'll have to sew it, but need to make my mind up soon before I stick it onto the backing page. However, this is how it's going to look. It's going to be like that. So yeah, it's coming together, isn't it? It's really nice. Now, before we do the pocket and all that, I just want to decorate this backing page a little bit, just so it's really funky. And I've got a couple of little snippets here. This is from the same set as this. I just cut out a little square and I've backed it onto some sort of lame type thing. So I could put that anywhere I like, really, with these two little bits. Well, it's one bit, 2 diamonds of lace that I cut out, which I also used on here, and I quite like that. I like the continuity of it. Question is, where shall I put it, and is that all it needs? I have got this one that I showed you before that I could cut out a roundel and put that there. No, I quite like that actually. I'm just querying whether it needs any more, which is going to be, if we make this this page, so you turn over and there's a back on it, should that be over there? And how big is my envelope? Maybe the thing to do is make the envelope up. Give that glue a chance to dry on there and make this envelope up. So this is a sheet of coffee stained paper. It's not copy paper, it's kind of the next thickness up, if you like. So I'm going to stick that onto there just to give it a bit of body, because it's too thin just on copy paper. Everything's tumbling down. I always try and get out what I think I'm going to need for whatever it is I'm doing, and put it on the desk, so I've got what I need. But then in so doing, in looking for what it is I think I need, I come across all this other stuff that I think, oh, I forgot I had that. That would look nice. So I end up on my desk with all this other stuff that I think, oh, that would look nice. I've got too much stuff on my desk. Right, so we'll stick that down onto there. Lovely. I mean, for example, I have got a bone folder somewhere, but I have got no clue where it is. Not a clue. It used to live over here somewhere in the dark recesses, but it's not there anymore. So, oh, look what I found. Brilliant. So just smoosh that out so you've got no lumps, bumps, air pockets or anything, and it's well adhered to the coffee paper. Coffee stained paper, should I say. Right, so just chop that out. It's easier to stick it on first than to cut another shape out that's identical to it and then stick it on, because they never work out that way. They never work out to be exactly the same. So you end up with two bits of paper that you're trying to marry, and they just don't want to. I haven't made this envelope up before, so I really don't have much idea why we've got this very fancy top to it, but it's a nice sort of shape in keeping with what we're doing, I thought. If you've got a round punch, you can punch this out with it. I have got one, but I don't think it's the right size. Or you can just quickly go around it like I just did. Save that for something. This has now become actually quite thick, which is fine. I'd rather it was too thick than too thin. But you might get away, you probably would get away with just putting it onto another sheet of copy paper. Because what I've stuck it onto, as I've said, is thicker than your average bear. No, it's thicker than copy paper. Right, okay, so that's it. So we need to fold it in, really. and we've got sort of guidelines as to where to go by where they've been imitation inked. So that looks like that's about right. These little tabs at the side. Don't know what we're going to put in here yet. At the end, or when we're getting nearly to the end, we're going to have a day of making tags and inserts and all sorts of things to fill the journal up with. We're just really building the bones at the minute. Right, so that should be our little envelope, yeah? It is. I need to fold the top in as well. Lovely. So they go in and get stuck onto this back piece, and then this front piece folds down. But well, it might be all right. I don't know. Might have to devise some method of fixing that so it doesn't flap up. I think I might just do a little bit of stamping on that bit that flips up, because I don't like the idea of people just seeing bare paper. So this is a text one. I'm not sure which way is up actually. That's fine. Just take the blankness off it. Looks like we cared enough to go that extra mile, which we do, of course. Right, so I'll glue this down, being careful not to go into the back, otherwise we're going to end up with something that's not an envelope. Who knows what that is? So you want to go right up to the fold, but not over. I've got a lump of glue there. And same with this one, right up to where it folds. Let's just wipe that off. Did I have any excess on the inside? Yep. Make sure you take that off, otherwise you won't have an envelope. It'll just be a sticky, it'll all have stuck together. And then this comes over and sticks onto there, forming our little envelope. Lovely. Now just really want to make sure that that's open. Yep. I might shove something in there actually, just to keep it open. I'll just shove those in. That'll keep it open while it dries. And we do need to work on what we're going to put in that. Get rid of that globly of glue, however you say it. Blob, I suppose. Right, so back to this. So the envelope's going to go in there. And that's going to go there. So let's have a look. That's going to go there. But we need to decorate the page a little bit more. So I did have, yeah, here they are, these things that I was showing you that I'd made, which I do quite like. I quite like that, actually. Would it be better there? It's like the opticians, isn't it? Can you see better there or there? I like it there. And I might put a bit of bling on it as well, for that matter. Right, so let's stick this down. I'm going to use tacky glue, because this stuff frays like billy-o. And whereby I don't mind it fraying a little bit. I don't want it frayed, so we're just left with one thread at the end of it. It doesn't seem to have a right or a wrong way, so let's pop it on there. Just slightly in from the edge, but on the edge pretty much. Right, what's that? That's the dog barking at his dad. And we'll stick this down. I'm keeping my glue in an old milk jug like that, because I'm more than halfway through it and it takes ages to get the glue to the top. So make sure that you stick your end on properly and then put it in something like that, an old mug or some, something along those lines. And then of course all the glue drops to the bottom, so when you come to use it, it's easy to use. So if you're wondering what I'm keep dropping my glue in, that's it. So put some glue on here. This is this sort of cotton, lacy, ribbony stuff, and it does need a lot of glue, sort of absorbs it into it. I'm just going to put that on there. I think it goes quite nicely with this pattern that we've got on that paper there. Of course the glue comes through the holes, but it dries clear, so don't worry about it. That's fine, it looks quite nice. And I'm just going to stick a bit of bling on there, if I can find some. Yeah. Here we are, cheap little bits of bling from the pound shop, but they can really make a difference. So I'm just going to add one, and I'm going to use my glue. I don't really trust the glue that comes with them, so I'm just going to use my glue, and it's a bit fiddly, and you invariably end up with tons more than you need. Just stick that in the middle. Doesn't want to go in the middle. Go in the middle. Thank you. And another one. A little bit of, that's just so, it's like masses of glue. Gosh. Stick it in the middle. I don't know if that bit needs one or not, really. It's hard to tell, isn't it? It's hard to tell. Where's my cloth, my cleaning cloth? Maybe I can get rid of a bit of glue off that one. No, I think I'll leave it like that. I think that's fine. I like this torn edge here, it looks nice. I'm going to put these away. I know that's shocking. It is actually quite shocking that I'm going to put something away. But there's just not room here for anything else. Right, okay, so let's see if this tape stuck. Oh, yeah, it did. Excellent. So we'll cut off the, I wonder if I should cut them off or fold them over. Going to be a bit lumpy if I fold them over, but I think we get a, I'm just worried these are going to fray. I really think they're going to, so I'm going to stick them down on the reverse, which is not something I would ordinarily do. It doesn't want to stick. It's just being awkward. Have I got any pegs anywhere? Yeah, I'm just going to use a common of garden clothes peg just to help that stick. Help persuade it to stick, let's say. I'm just going to do the same here. Put a clothes peg on there. Just until the glue dries. Now the question is, which I hadn't thought of till now, should we put a bit of bling? Everything's stuck to me. And I'm answering my question even as I'm asking it. I think we should put a bit of bling in the middle. Where did you go? I don't know, it's gone. A bit of bling in the middle of each of those. Why ever not? Why ever not? Oh, I'm so sticky. You really don't need much glue. What I had last time was just ridiculous. And it might also help stick this down, which is a bit loose, so I don't think it is. It's just going to stick on the lace, but that's all right. That's fine. It's just little things like this that make a huge difference overall, I think. Just details that take time, and slapdash people don't take that time, but we do. I'm going to have to clean my hands in a minute. Just everything is sticking to them. That's much prettier. It's not exactly pretty that I'm going for with this junk journal, but old habits die hard, and I like pretty. I also like bling, actually, and sometimes you don't get a chance to use as much bling as you'd like to. You know, with shabby chic journals and stuff. They can have the odd bit of bling on, but you can't bling them to the max. Whereas this one, I think it can be blinged to the max. And probably then some, actually. But we do need to keep it fairly cohesive throughout, you know, not always using different laces, etc. We need to be trying to use some of the same lace throughout to give it some continuity. Otherwise it's going to look like a jumble sale. It wants to stick to my hand more than it wants to stick to anything else. There we are. Right. I think I might just go along the back here and put a bit of glue in the back of each of those pretend stones. That one's not in the right place. No, that one. So perhaps it's just as well. I am doing this. Hey, hello. Right, so just pop that down. Stick them down like that. Okay, that's good. That's pretty. It's pretty, and it's really in keeping. I'm still going to put those away so I know where they are next time I need them. How shocking is that? So there you are. I don't know if you can see all that glitz, glamour, glitter, whatever. That's going to go onto there when it's dry, and that's going to go in there. And I need to sort out some way of fastening this to this. Don't worry, it's all doable, and it's pretty solid card, so I could actually, yeah, I know what I could do. I could use a bit of ribbon if I could find my, oh, that's a single hole punch. This one here, this fellow, this is a lanyard thingy, and it's got an oval cut out rather more than the single hole. Let's just make sure that I can get that in there. Yeah, I can. Is that far enough in? It's as far as it's going to go, so let's try that there. Okay. Oh, glory. And same up here. That's central. Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, so now we've got 2 holes. I don't know what we're going to do with them. That didn't quite work out as I thought it was going to work out. Well, I think we're just literally going to have to put a bit of ribbon around there and a bit of ribbon around there and tie them. Just having a bit of brain fade at the moment. Why can't I get that in any further than that one? That's my question. Why won't it go in any more? Is that further in than it was? Oh, I'm going to end up with loads of blinking holes here. No, it's the same. It's exactly the same. Right, so I'm going to have to attach a bit of ribbon around here and then bring it round here. Seeing as it's going on that pink page, perhaps the pink ribbon is the one to go for. That would just about fit, although this is red, so I don't know. No, I think the pink. I'm going to cut that off in a V shape to stop it fraying. Like so. Go in the snippet box, which I don't even know where it is. Bring that through and stick it onto there. Yeah, if we bring that through that hole, pretty much winging it here. Not exactly sure what I'm doing. I don't really want to be able to see the end of that ribbon, so I'm going to have to stick something over it. A little bit of this, perhaps. Yeah, that'll be fine. Right, so let's put that in there like so. That's excellent, like that. If I can keep it like that. Let's just stick a bit of glue stick on it. Glory, I don't know why that's so hard to come off. Right, so let's just stick this through here again, folks, and make sure that it's evenly gathered. Stick a bit of glue stick down there just to hold it in place. just wrinkled up there a bit, that's it. Okay, so that's held in place there. Lovely. Right, yeah, okay, I think this might well work yet. Don't give up on it. I'm just going to cut that fairly squarish. That end's going to annoy me otherwise. Just pop a little bit of that on there. Just so we're covering up the back of that lace, because otherwise ribbon, I mean, it looks a bit nasty. Just pop that there. I don't think that's in the way of it folding over, I don't think. Yeah, no, it's all right. So that should have stuck that ribbon in place. Oh dear, talk about doing it on the hoof. I need a sip of my drink. Right, so next thing to do then is put a bit of ribbon in there. Is this going to work? Is it actually going to work? Might do. I need to try it. I need to try it and see. I can't envisage in my head what's going on. So that needs to get stuck onto there. Let's put some glue. Oh, I'm going to have to put it on with my finger. Oh, I'll use this. Just stick the glue, the ribbon on with. Shove it through there. Fold it over. Oh, it's a right sticky mess in there. Try and wipe it off your ribbon if you can, because it does mark it. And it has stuck in there, but there's a lot of wet glue. I'm thinking that I need another clothes peg. Just leave that there just to dry for a minute. I don't even know this is going to work, to be honest with you. But I hadn't planned what to do with it, so you know, I think it should. That doesn't take too long to dry, that stuff. I'll just get my heat gun out, which is all caught up over everything. Just give it a quick waft of heat in there. Oh, come on, it's caught up on something. Because it's white and it dries clear, you can tell when it's dry, theoretically. It's getting pretty warm on my hands, so I'm guessing it's getting warm. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, that's dry. It's now dried in this position. Right, so that's fairly central there. So if I bring this down a bit and stick it down, yeah, that would work, wouldn't it? Next time I do an envelope like this, I need to be doing all this first, because it would be much easier without having the envelope assembled. Sorry, I've got to have a drink, I'm losing my voice. Right, so I'm going to glue that with, where does it need to come to really? Only to about there. Yeah, right there. Let's just put a little pencil mark on there where it needs to come to. So I'm going to have to use tacky glue, and sometimes it comes through. The other thing I was thinking about was putting a brad in it, or a couple of brads, so it looks quite, yeah, I might do that actually. No, glue it. That way then I really know it's stuck. It was just for the fact of the glue coming through the ribbon really. What it'll be, what it'll be. Well, after all, I think that's going to look quite nice. Right, let's see if this has managed to get dry yet while we're leaving that to dry. Yep. And, well, it's a bit soggy. I just need to take this excess off. That really needs to go in snippets. I'm just going to get my glue gun out again and just make sure this is really dry. Glue gun? Heat gun? With this style of journal that I'm doing, there is a lot going on every page. You know, it's not something you just think, oh, I'll just do one of those pages, or I'll just do 3 of those pages, or whatever. Each one actually needs quite a lot of thought, so I'm finding out. But, you know, you're more than welcome to choose the page layouts that I've done and do similar for yourself. I'm not saying you want to. I'm sure you can think of better ways of doing this. This is just what's coming into my mind. It's got to be something like dry, you would think. So I don't really want to sew that on there until I have done the whole back page as well, and then I can sew them all on together. But I will stick it on for the time being, just so as it's stuck and sewn, which I like. I like belt and braces. Can't beat a bit of belt and braces. You don't need too much glue on this. You know, as I say, I am going to sew it. But for the sake of completeness, as my old boss used to say. Well, I think we should do that for the sake of completeness. Oh no! Blooming completeness. So we'll just slide that onto where we want it. Just there. Just go around the edges. Make sure we've got no excess glue coming out of it. You will have glue coming out of it, you always do, but just wipe the excess away. That is just a little bit too wide, but I'm just going to leave it to dry, because sometimes if you cut it while it's wet, it moves it, and then you end up it's not right. So, is that dry? Shall I just give it a quick waft? I think that's probably fine. So let's see if we can tie a bow in here. That would be good if we could. Need a bit more glue there. There we are, pretty. It just needs it's only the tiniest bit, and I think it probably wasn't dry was the issue. Just going to put that bit there. Just going to open my bow again and make sure that that bit is well and truly stuck down. A bit of a lump there now. My clothes peg doesn't reach. Never mind, it will dry and it'll be fine. So, do we need any additional decoration on here? This is an opportunity to decorate, and they should not be missed. What could I decorate it with? What have I got? I've got all sorts of everything. Well, I've got that really nice dingly dangly, which I could put through that ribbon, but then I'm going to tie a bow in that, it's just going to get in the way. I've got this stuff which is gorgeous. And I guess I could just put a little bit there. That would be nice. This is we're going for complete nutter overkill here. But I like it. I like the overkill. Those two might be quite nice. I don't know. Where's the top? Here's the top. Let's see. Those two? Maybe? Oh dear, this is just ludicrous. So I might get those three on it actually, but I'd have to stick it to the back, you know, go round the, yeah, no. Nice idea, but it's not working in reality. What about this stuff we put on the bottom? Gotta put a little bit of it on. Well, yes I could. That would look quite nice actually. Yeah, that might be the way forward. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It's funny, isn't it? You know it when you see it. It will need some on the back, but I can't tell exactly where yet, so I'll put that on in a sec once I see where we're going to. I'm just going to fold this out because I don't want to get glue on the other bit. Make sure that's straight. Stick this down. This turned into quite a long make actually. Sorry if I'm keeping you from something. This is probably going to have to be relined with something, I think. Ooh, it's come off. It's come off. Right, that's where it wants to go. Well, correction, that's where I want it to go. So I'm going to stick a peg on that. That's right there. Then this is going to have to come over the sides. I might have to stick 2 pegs on that actually. One there and one there. Whilst I just situate this spare lace at the back, which will also need a peg on it. Alright, this needs cut off right there, glued on and pegged. Alright, so let's have a look. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Just fine. So just need to leave that to dry. And then see if we need anything else. I don't think we will. I think that should just about cover it, quite literally. I could stick bling on. This is stuck on now, this pocket, so I'll just trim off the wee bit of excess that there is. It's something and nothing, but we could get into trouble with it later on while we're attaching the other side. That hasn't stuck down very well, but near enough for what we need. Right, there we are then. So that's that. I hope you can see all the shimmers and stuff in that. It's amazing. It's amazing. And this we're just waiting for to dry, and then it can go in there. See, this hasn't stuck very well, but when we finish the whole page, the entire back and front, we'll be going round the whole thing. And in the bottom, I'm going to put something maybe like this at the bottom of the page. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. I've got that, or I've got some other, I've got this red one. That's actually quite nice on that page. Or I've got this one, which is just delicious. It's to die for, gorgeous, that one. I love that one. So you see, when we've got the whole journal made up, these are going to be hanging out the bottom. They're going to look lovely. Lovely. So I'll come back in a little while when that has dried. And we'll see what we're going to do about covering that back or not. So we've completed the envelope, the longest envelope in history. And I'm now debating whether or not I want to add a little bit of lace to the side there. Just an added touch of BoHo, let's say. And yeah, I do. I like it. It softens it somehow. I do like that. So I think the way forward is to cut a piece off that lace, which I just found in my box when I was going through it looking for something else. I didn't even know I had it, is the truth of the matter. So I'm just going to cut round some of the flowers, try and preserve some whole flowers on the remnant that's left for the next project that I do. But I think I might try and include a bit of lace in it on every page, just to harmonise it really. Yeah, it's so pretty. It's almost like bridal lace actually, and I could not tell you where it came from, not a clue. In fact, I swear I'd never seen it before until today. Amazing, isn't it, what we hoard? However, so that's going to go down there, but I want to get rid of that solid sort of hem on the left hand side as we look at it now. So I'll just cut round that here and place it there. I think it'll look lovely. It's just an added layer, and what I'm learning as I go along with this style is it's all about layers, and too much is really not too much. Over the top is by no means over the top. You can go miles further over the top. So just cut that thicker hem piece off. I don't really want a straight edge particularly, but if it turns out that way, that's okay. No point saving that for the snippets, it's just a bit of hem. So I think I'm just going to tuck that into there. I don't want a solid line where it finishes. Just put that up there. Yeah, look. Yeah, that's pretty. Lovely. So I think the way to apply this is probably with glue stick actually. I think if I was to apply it with tacky glue, I'd just end up with a tacky mess because it's lace, it's mesh, it would just come straight through it. So I'll give it a try with glue stick, see if that works. If it doesn't, well, I'm going to have to put plan B into operation, whatever that may be. So let's just see if that holds it down. It's very, very light, this mesh, so I can't imagine that it wouldn't hold it down. It's quite sticky glue stick, isn't it? As you know when you get it all over your fingers. I only want a little bit to tuck into that pocket just so it's not, so the line isn't actually at the top of the pocket. Looks like it's sticking down. I'll just trim that corner out so I can get it to go behind the pocket. Right, so here's the puzzle. How do you get glue in there then? Oh dear. As best as you can. And then just tuck that down. Lovely. Make sure it's nicely firmly stuck. Bone folders are great for this. I love bone folders. They're so nice in your hand. You can get quite a lot of pressure with them as well. Yeah, I think we're going to be alright there. I think glue stick's going to do the job. Glue stick saves the day. I'm using Bostik glue stick. And I must say I do like it. I like it more than I like Pritt, because you don't get so many big blobs coming off. So just square that up with the page, and you know what, we're getting nearly finished. There's been a lot to do on this page. I mean, when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's had all the work that it has. So there we are. So if you could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It makes a huge difference to me. And click the bell beside it if you want notifications when I upload videos, but you don't have to do that. But thanks for watching.